YouTube, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the show. Stop Everything, a CFTC regulated derivatives exchange. They just opened the door for crypto native collateral. And what it triggers next is the biggest shift into digital assets we've seen in years. If you think you're early now, wait until you see what's quietly happening behind the scenes. As always, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Hit subscribe so you never miss a moment. And let's jump into it. We see it right here on the screen, folks. This is a moment that nobody saw coming. Bitnomial, a fully CFTC regulated US derivatives exchange. Not offshore, not some kind of loophole, shady backroom operation, not a trust us bro exchange. It's officially launching its perps futures right here on the US coil. Yeah, you heard that right. Perps are coming to a fully regulated American derivatives platform, but they're not stopping there, right? They're also rolling out Botanical, which is going to be a new platform that's going to let your everyday investor, your everyday perps trader, your futures, and all your options under the same regulatory umbrella that your institution rely on. Now, tell me that's not wild. For years, the narrative was if you want crypto perps, you better go offshore. But now the US is saying, nope. Come back home. You can trade this all right here and you can do it safely. This is the plot twist that no one expected. The US didn't just wake up. It is opening the gates, the floodgates. Stick with me because once you understand what they just did and what this actually unlocks, the rest of the video here, it's all gonna click into place like a domino chain, which moves us over to this XRPrightnow.com. Save it to your favorites, your one and only stop for your Ripple and XRP news. Because here's where it gets a little crazy. So Bitnomial is not just launching perps, okay? They are becoming the first US registered derivatives clearing organization to accept stable coins and XRP as margin collateral. Let me say that again because this is history. This is going to be your first US registered derivatives clearing organization. Yes, they will be accepting RLUSD. Yes, they will be accepting XRP as collateral. So you have a CFTC regulated exchange, which is now letting you post RLUSD and XRP as collateral for your leverage trades. Not offshore, not a sandbox, not pending regulatory approval, live, real US markets. This is exactly what your crypto native funds and market makers have been begging for. Capital efficient strategies, fast moving collateral, on-chain liquidity, and a US regulated safety blanket, folks. It is getting real. Your institutional traders can now use RLUSD. They can use XRP to collateralize everything, your perps, your futures, your options. And retail traders, they'll have their own platform called Botanical. This is the merger of your TradeFi infrastructure with CryptoSpeed, all happening inside of American regulatory systems. Now, don't forget Brad Garlinghouse, he sits on the board here. Do not forget Carolyn Pham. She told you the other day that she was bringing everything back to the US. She's the head running all of this, and she was just in Ripple's offices not too long ago. Here she is right here. She's telling you the US wants crypto back, and she's right. And guess what the US is going to get? They're going to get crypto back. She told everyone, stop leaving the country and come build here. That's what we need, because if you remember the SEC's oversight, how many exchanges did they force out of the US to go offshores? Bitfinex, one of my favorite exchanges out of Seattle, Washington. Well, the SEC decided they were going to wake up one day and sue them. They were like, look, we're not going to fight with you. We're not going to do this. We're just going to pack our bags and leave. And that's what they did. Listen to this clip.
Going live.
Not only do we want Americans to come back home and to be trading here where they know that they have the protections that they deserve, but again, that means that American companies that are involved in the crypto industry, they're going to want to build here. They're going to want to invest here. They're going to want to hire here. So this is overall a net benefit to the economy.
Going live.
Not only do we want Americans to come back home
a net
and
benefit
be trading here
to the economy. Look, that's Chair Carolyn Pham. She's making it very, very clear. The US wants crypto traders. We want crypto builders, and we want crypto capital at home again. She called it a net benefit to the US economy. She said clarity brings innovation. She wants crypto companies hiring in the United States, expanding its operations and scaling inside of the US instead of running to countries like Dubai or Singapore. This is the most pro-crypto regulatory tone we have held in years, or we have heard in years, excuse me. And it explains exactly why Bitnomial is being allowed to blaze this trail. Look, this isn't 2017 anymore. Regulators, they don't want to kill crypto. Your days of Gary Gensler and Jay Clayton, they're done. There is a new sheriff in town. There is a new president. It is very clear that crypto is going to be the number one, or the US is going to be the number one crypto spot. I think that's the better way to say it, right? And look, once institutions realize the US is now the safe legal playground for crypto derivatives, your liquidity is about to explode, which brings us over to our next domino. Because right as crypto rails open up in the US, something else hit the wire. We're talking about the US M2 money supply. It has hit a brand new all-time high at $22.3 trillion. Let me translate this into crypto language for you. Liquidity's back. Risk assets pump when money expands. Bitcoin doesn't wait, it absorbs liquidity fast. And then what happens? It trickles down to the rest of your assets. We are watching the early stages of your next capital rotation. And what's happening on chain, it backs all of this up because your whales, they're not sleeping. Look at this on-chain report. $13.9 million via a whale dropped into altcoins. Not random memes, not your random casino coins, not your hype project of the week, but serious protocol level assets. We're talking Ethereum, Chainlink, ENA, Uni, Ondo, Aave. And then they added Penal Curve, ENS, and Aero. This isn't retail gambling. Retail's not coming to crypto with $13.9 million, everyone. This is a highly capitalized entry positioning for a macro move. Quietly, aggressively, and a lot of size packing behind it. We've told you before and we'll tell you again. Smart money buys blood. Smart money buys boredom. Smart money buys before the news cycles. They catch up. And this is only one giant making a move, folks, because that gets us over to Vanguard. This one shocked even the analysts out there. Vanguard, they came out of nowhere. And when Vanguard enters the market, a lot of these other asset managers, they're going to follow. Look, BlackRock's going to come sooner than later. Yes, I know they got Bitcoin, Ethereum, but they are going to expand sooner or later. They had a nice head start. They made a lot of money, BlackRock, but now they got Vanguard who's entered the market. They don't want to lose out to Vanguard here. So we got a $10 trillion asset manager, which now owns over $3.2 billion worth of MicroStrategy. Yeah, Vanguard, the most conservative asset manager on earth. The same Vanguard that spent years refusing to touch crypto, to acknowledge crypto, to tell you that crypto had no place. They now have $3.2 billion worth of MicroStrategy. Why? Because that gives them Bitcoin exposure. That is why. And the position size is enormous. It's not a trade. Look, they're not buying this thing to trade it. They're not trying to make a quick buck here. This isn't a hedge. This is an integration. But it gets even more interesting because Vanguard now, well, they officially have every XRP ETF on its platform. You heard that correctly. Vanguard lists every single XRP ETF on its platform. A $10 trillion institution, the second largest asset manager in the world behind BlackRock. They just opened XRP investment products to its clients. It is only a matter of time before they launch their own ETF and they start selling their own ETF. Once that happens, you are guaranteed a BlackRock ETF as well. Those two compete side by side with each other. They understand crypto. They understand how much money is in these crypto markets. But we're talking retirement money, pension money, advisor managed portfolios, institutional accounts. They can now all allocate XRP through these regulated ETFs. And you know what? Once those floodgates are open, they're gonna flood. And once Wall Street gets access like this, they always follow with capital. They're not just going to come here and hit refresh and look at the page. They will be active. They will be buying, folks. But not everyone is bullish out there. Mr. Shark Tank himself, Kevin O'Leary. Well, Kevin's still stuck in 2017, unfortunately. Kevin believes only Bitcoin and Ethereum will be the only two assets that are going to survive. Let's listen to Mr. Shark Tank himself.
All you have to own to capture 90% of all of the crypto market's alpha or pricing volatility is simply Bitcoin and Ethereum. You don't need anything else. And so this is really, really hard medicine for all of the people that sponsored all of these other chains and other platforms, because now they face the reality, which I think is a cleansing, a good thing, a spatula cleaning from all that poo-poo coin out there that's just pure speculation. But it also says the maturity of the market is looking at the numbers because the big money's about to come in. So if you were just in Bitcoin and Ethereum over the last 8 weeks, you've done so much better than own the poo-poo coins. And the poo-poo coins aren't going to come back unless they can give you a use case and they have to have tens of millions of dollars in marketing. Jack, you just called for the price of Bitcoin. That is universal around the world. The only other call is on Ethereum, and no one else gets that ticker you just called for. They have to market it. They have to buy it.
Made that case from the beginning of this, that Bitcoin really was the be-all and end-all, and that all these poo-poo coins,
but now you have the
infrastructure.
infrastructure.
Had no value.
You have the infrastructure saying, I'm an institution. What do I need to own? No poo-poo coins, just Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Well, whether he's right or wrong, statements like this, they all matter because they reshape retail's narratives. But here's the plot twist, right? Institutions are buying altcoins. Whales are buying altcoins. Regulators are giving green lights for altcoin collaterals. ETFs for altcoins are launching. XRP has over 1 billion assets under management in just 2 weeks from its ETFs. Isn't it funny how these people cannot mention XRP on TV? Whether it's to protect their Bitcoin and ETH narrative or it is something deeper here. So while Larry's out there calling the market dead, the biggest money in the world is quietly accumulating everything that this man says is not going to survive. And that is the contradiction that makes this move so much more explosive, folks. So you know what? Let's tie it all together. Let's zoom out for a second because we have a CFTC regulated US exchange. We have stablecoins are now legal margin collateral for legal leverage trading in the United States. US regulators are actively inviting crypto companies back home. Your money supply is hitting all-time highs. Whales are loading up. Vanguard, they're accumulating Bitcoin and listing XRP ETFs, and big name voices are adding fuel to the fire, creating volatility, opportunity, and narrative momentum. You are watching the Re-Americanization of crypto markets. It's happening in real time. This is the beginning of a new cycle, one built on regulations, one built by the institutions, and massive liquidity. And you know what? People who understand the connections, they win the hardest. Stay early, folks. Stay informed and don't sleep on what happens next because these next 12 months, they will make or break your entire portfolio. Hit that thumbs up on your way out and I'll see all y'all on the next one.